In this video, we are going to make it so that when we collect a gem, we update our gem counter here. So our gem count is going to start at 0. And when we collect the gem, we need to then increment it. In order to do that, that means that our UI manager needs to be told, hey, you need to update this gem count, which means it needs a reference to it. So if we look here, we can go to our UI manager. We need a reference to our gem count. So here we're going to have a public, we'll say text component, and this is going to be gem count. We'll say gem count. Let's save that, go back into Unity, and let's assign that. So if we select our canvas now, it's looking for this information. So here we have gem count. And what we want to do here, and actually let's go ahead and rename this to gem count text so that we know it's a text field. Now that we have the gem count text variable or reference object, we can then modify to basically be updated whenever you collect a coin. So here we have update shop selection, open shop, and so forth. Let's take this void awake here. Just put it above everything else. All right, let's create a function here that says public void, we'll say update gem count. Now when that method is called, what's it going to do? It's going to take our gem count text and it's going to change it. It's going to say equals the current amount of gems that the player has. So here we're going to say update gem count.text.text equals however many gem count it is. Update gem count. We'll say int count and we'll just assign it to that. We'll say text equals a quote and we'll append the count. So however many gems. Now the question comes down to where do we update this? Well, who's going to call this function? Well, it comes down to who's collecting the gems, the player, right? So basically when the player collects a gem, the player is going to tell the UI manager to update. So here, if we look in our player script, we have the ability to collect gems, but nothing actually happens. You'll see here that in our diamond script, we check if it's the player, and here we add gems to the player. So what we want to do is rewrite this logic so that it calls a function that's going to add gems and then update the player. So let's go ahead and do that. Inside our player here, we're going to create a new method down here, and we're going to call this public void add gems. So here we're public void add gems, and we're going to say int amount. And what we can do now is we can add the diamond amount. So when we call that function, we're basically going to take this logic here, and instead of doing it here, we're going to do it in that function. So here, if the player is not equal to null, we're going to call that code. We're going to say player.addGems, and then the value is going to be gems. We'll save that and delete this line. We'll save this, head back into our player, and now when we add gems, what we're going to do is we're going to pass in the amount here, and we're going to say diamonds plus equals the amount. So all we're doing here is we're taking the logic from the diamond script and placing it in our player now. So here when we add gems, we're going to say diamonds plus equals amount. And then here we now need to contact the UI manager and say instance dot update gem count. And we're going to pass in the amount of diamonds we have. So player or our diamonds. And there we go. Save this. Let's head back into Unity. Now when we run this and collect diamonds, it should calculate how many we have every time we collect one. So we'll walk around. All right, so right now it's actually not collecting these. It looks like we have a null reference exception. And that's because the gem count text was not assigned. So let's take the gem count and drag it there. Save your scene. Run Unity. All right, and here we go. As we collect gems, you'll see here that it is indeed incrementing. All right, so we have 10 gems right now. And if we make our way to our shop, we just want to make sure that the number we see here reflects what we actually have in the shop. All right. And there we go. 24 gems, 24 in the shop. Now, if you want to, last but not least, guys, we can actually update our shop panel UI text. So if we have a custom font for that as well. So if we go into our merchant image here, or wherever it has text for a font, we can swap it all out and it will look a lot better. All right, so here's the text for this. So just select all those text items, change the font from Arial to this Charlemagne, and then select each of these guys, the prices, and you can adjust the font. All right, and if we enable that panel, you'll see here it looks a lot better. Alrighty, I'll see you guys in the next video.